Hello and welcome to the video for module GM4, Geometry and Measure 4, and it's the first of two videos, and in this one we're going to look at area and perimeter. We're going to look at three shapes: rectangle, triangle and the parallelogram, and we're going to look at the theory. The second video will be the one where we look at questions. You won't need to do any writing on this video at all. All you've got to do is watch and learn, as they say. Let's start off with the rectangle. So the rectangle, we've got two sides. We call the long one the length and the short one the width, and we're going to work out the area. Now the area is the amount of space that's enclosed within that shape, and for a rectangle, area is length times width. So if we put some numbers in there, we've got 10 and 6. The area is 10 times 6, which is 60. Notice the units. The lengths are in centimetres, so the area is in centimetres squared. Okay, so let's have a look then. Same rectangle, and we're going to have a look at the perimeter. Now the perimeter is the distance around the outside. So if that's 10, that long one on the bottom, the one at the top must be 10 as well. And if that's 6, that must be 6 over there. So the perimeter is the distance around the outside, so we say it's 10 plus 6 plus 10 plus 6. And notice the units will be the same as the lengths, so that's 32 centimetres. There's a slightly quicker way we could have done it. We could have said, well, the long one is 10, the short one is 6. Let's add those up and then double it, because there's 2 of each. So that's how we write it mathematically. 10 plus 6 added up in a bracket, times it by 2. 32 centimetres. So good. So that's an idea of what area is, what perimeter is, and how we do it for a rectangle. So let's have a go at this one together. Remember, on this video, you don't need to write anything at all. All you've got to do is watch. So if that's 12 and that's 7, what do you reckon the area is? Well, we're going to say it's 12 times 7, which is 84. Notice the units, meters squared. And the perimeter, well, that's the distance around the outside. So I think most people do 12 plus 7 plus 12 plus 7, which is 38 meters. But we could have done 12 plus 7, added those up into the bracket, which is 19, times 2, 38 meters. Excellent. So let's have a look at the triangle. Now I know what you're going to say. You're going to say that's not a triangle, that's a rectangle. But let's remind ourselves of the rectangle then. So there's the rectangle, length, width, area was length times width. Now a triangle is actually a rectangle cut in half. So there we go. So the area must be half of that of a rectangle. So what we could say is that half the length times the width. And that's what we use effectively, although we use different words. Now the width, we don't refer to that as the width on a triangle. Let's just move that across there, and we refer to that as the height of the triangle. So let's change our formula from width to height. And actually the word length we don't use. For triangles we refer to that as the base. So there we go. So if you look at our formula, that's going to change. So the area of a triangle is half the base times the height. And it's actually half the area of a rectangle. Right, let's put some numbers in there, shall we? So there's a triangle. Okay, and just a reminder then, first the area is half the base times the height. Okay, let's have a look how we do that with some numbers. So find the area of this triangle. We've got a base of 10, a height of 6. So the area is half times 10 times 6. Now we've got a choice of things here. We could say, well, half of 10 is 5. 5 times 6 is 30. Or we could have said 10 times 6, that's 60. Half of 60 is 30. We could have even multiplied the 6 by half to get 3, and then multiply by 10. But we get 30 whichever way we do it. And because it's an area, we're looking at square units. So the area of this triangle is 30 centimetres squared. Excellent. Now we noticed the height was on the side there. Normally the height is given like that, the highest point, and from the base like that. So this one, you don't have to work it out. We just want to make sure everyone's happy what they're doing. Half times 12.8 times 7.2. And we don't expect you to do that in your head. That would be a calculator job. 6.4 times 7.2, 46.08 square meters. So area of a triangle, half the base times the height. Excellent. Now the last shape we're going to look at is a parallelogram, and that's a shape with two pairs of parallel sides. Now the opposite sides are equal in length. So there is a parallelogram, and the two sides with one arrow on them, they're parallel and they're equal in length, and the other two sides with two arrows on them, they're equal in length and parallel as well. And we refer to the distance across the bottom as the base, just like on a triangle, and we refer to the distance going up from the bottom to the top as the height. Notice it's what we call the perpendicular height. It's at 90 degrees to the base. So let's have a look. Have we got a formula for that? Well, we have. The area is base times height. And a lot of people look at that and say, that doesn't seem right. But actually, let's see what we can do with this shape. If you look over there on the right, what you'll notice is there's a triangle. Now that light blue triangle, we're going to move that across and fit it in there. Now what that will give us is a rather nice rectangle. And we know the area of a rectangle is the long side times the short side. In this case, base times height. So there we go, that proves it. So there's the parallelogram, base times height. Let's have a look with some numbers in. So if the base was 16, the height was 12, we just say the area, 16 times 12, which is 192, and because it's area, centimetres squared. How can they make it tricky on the exam? Well, what they do sometimes, they try to mislead you or distract you. They give you too much information. So they'll give you the base, they give you that 8 and that 9. Now the height is actually that 8 meters. The 9 is the length of the sloping side. And that's just put in there to distract us. And in literature, something like that is referred to as a red herring. So let's have a red herring up there then. There we go. We don't need that 9. Our area for this shape is 13 times 8, which is 104. See the units? Meters squared. That's it. Let's have a little recap before we go. So we've got area, that's the amount of space inside a shape. The perimeter is the distance around the outside. We did the rectangle, area is length times width. The perimeter, we could say length plus width plus length plus width, or you could say 2 times length plus width. We did the triangle, area, half base times height. We're not really asked about the perimeter of a triangle, so we want the area, half base times height, and then we did the parallelogram. Nice and easy, area, base times height. Well, that's it for video 1. Now in video 2, you'll be able to work through the questions in the homework workbook, and I'll speak to you then on that video. So it's bye for now.